Well, CNN senior law enforcement analyst Charles Ramsey joins us now. He, of course, led police departments in 2 major cities. Charles, it's good to have you. Thanks for joining this morning.
Thank you.
So first, your reaction to this news. Was this the right thing for the Secret Service director to do?
Well, first of all, it's not surprising at all. And I don't know how she could have survived after watching the testimony yesterday in light of the major failure that took place during the attempted assassination. So I'm not surprised at all. And then a bipartisan, call for her to step down. I mean, I think what's important here is not so much that her stepping down and resigning by itself doesn't change a lot of things. There has to be a very deep dive into the Secret Service to find out what's going on in terms of their operational planning, in terms of their staffing, in terms of their training. All those kinds of things have to be looked at. And there's got to be some changes made so that something like this doesn't happen again. And so her stepping down, the right thing to do, fresh eyes looking at the problem, hopefully bringing somebody in from the outside to take a fresh look at things. But it can't stop there. They got to take a deep dive into the agency itself.
Now, you have a Secret Service investigation that's going to happen. You also will have a House investigation that's going to happen. I wonder if you think there needs to be some unified, nonpartisan, as best as it can be, investigation along the lines, and I'm not saying this is the same significance as 9/11, but along the lines of the 9/11 Commission, so that you can not just assess the failures or maybe even score some political points, right, but figure out if real long-term changes need to be made.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you have to take the politics out of it. And having a political investigation, in my opinion, is going to just be a political investigation with a lot of finger pointing. It's not going to get at root causes of anything. As far as the agency trying to investigate itself, it lacks the credibility to really come up with a conclusion that people will buy into. There needs to be an independent third-party look at the agency and how it's established, whether it's a commission, a task force, or whatever, but it can't be political. If you want to fix the problem, then fix the problem. Don't just point fingers. Finger pointing has never fixed anything. And so if they're serious about this, then they'll go about selecting some kind of third party to take a look at what took place. Otherwise, it's not going to lead to any kind of significant changes, and changes are needed.
One thing that's been highlighted in the days since, and Lord, it's only been 10 days, right? So we're just beginning, is the division of responsibilities between local law enforcement in Butler, Pennsylvania, and the Secret Service, and what appeared to be communications issues, et cetera, a little bit of sniping early on, we should say. As I understand it, that's a typical arrangement, that there's sharing of responsibilities. Do you see a fundamental issue there, or is this an isolated failure?
Well, I mean, Secret Service is not and probably never will be staffed to the point where they can handle everything. So they're going to have to rely on state and local, and they'll divide up some duties in terms of, the protection, the envelope that they create to protect either the former president, or any protectee. But here's the key. You can delegate authority. You cannot delegate responsibility. The ultimate responsibility for the safety and security of the former president of the United States rested with the United States Secret Service, period. That's it. And so they had a responsibility, even though they said, okay, locals, you guys have this, that, and the other. What did Reagan say? Trust but verify. I mean, trust that they've done it, but somebody needs to walk those grounds and make sure that people are where they're supposed to be, doing exactly what they should be doing, period. And that is the Secret Service responsibility. You can't delegate that to someone else, ultimately. It rests with them and them alone.
How would you describe the threat environment now for the presidential candidates? The FBI, DHS, following this attempt, immediately spoke of the danger of reprisal, retaliatory attacks. There are concerns with Kamala Harris at the top of the ticket now. You have a new candidate. It's a quite polarized environment here. Would you say it's a particularly perilous time?
I think you just answered the question, Jim. I mean, this is probably the highest agitated state, I'll say, that we've ever found ourselves in. I mean, we're so polarized that by itself, it creates an entirely unacceptable environment. But you add on top of that, you got an election year. You've got, Donald Trump and all the things that come along with him. You've got a brand new candidate now in Kamala Harris, and you've got a lot of issues associated with trying to protect her in terms of all the different rallies and events that she'll be going to. You've got an election coming up, so getting beyond just the protectees at the state and local level. You've got election workers that are going to need protection at these polling places and so forth. We're just in a crisis here in this country, and we've got to come together. And that means all hands on deck to really come together to create that safety envelope that encompasses not only Harris and Trump, but goes way beyond that, because this is a very critical time in our country, and we cannot afford to have anything like this happen again.
To your point, Charles Ramsey, you mentioned election workers, you mentioned members of law enforcement. As you know, former President Trump has often directed his own criticism in that direction. The concern has been that riles up folks who might take some sort of action. And just a short time ago, the former president posted the following on social media: "The Biden-Harris administration did not properly protect me, and I was forced to take a bullet for democracy." Is he getting close there to blaming the Biden-Harris administration for this?
Listen, he gets close to doing a whole lot of things, in my opinion. So, yeah, I mean, that's not helpful. Okay, let me put it that way. That kind of tweet is not helpful. Try to fix the problem. Okay, the finger pointing and all that kind of stuff really does nothing but stir the pot. And you've got a lot of mentally disturbed people out there that hear those words and then take it upon themselves to try to do something. And this, whether you're Democrat, Republican, or whatever, you should be American first. And that means that, the foundation of our democracy is in our ability to choose our elected officials. We can't lose that. And we can't have people threatened that choose to run or choose to work in that environment, and period. So everybody has a responsibility. And I think high profile people like Trump, Harris, and all these other people have more of a responsibility for that than the average everyday person. But we all have a responsibility when it comes to creating that safe environment.
Charles Ramsey, so good to have you. Thanks so much for joining.
Thank you.